This is the ALsensei English podcast. Activate. Motivate. Accelerate.
To take the beat to the street.
Hello and welcome to the fourth episode of the ALsensei English 2.0 podcast. A podcast where I help you express yourself more naturally and more smoothly. And we use that with a little thing I call English 2.0. Now, what is English 2.0? Well, we're going to go into that more in depth in future shows. But basically, it's just a new way of thinking, a new way of looking at your English learning, and using new ways to help you learn and practice your English. So again, we'll get into more detail in future shows, but that's the basic idea of what it is. So for today's main topic, I want to cover 3 grammar mistakes that you need to fix right now to help you sound like a more natural speaker. But before we do that, let's go to a question from Twitter. It comes from Misajima, and she simply wants to know, which is more natural, I envy you or I'm jealous? Well, it's a very good question, and pretty simple to answer, actually. Well, if you actually listen to native speakers talk, the answer is definitely I'm jealous. Now, they're both natural, they both have the same meaning, but if you actually listen to what native people are saying to each other, I'm jealous is definitely more common, more often used than I envy you. So go ahead and, if you feel that, ureyamashi, I'm jealous is the more natural or more common phrase. Great question, thank you. So today's main theme is 3 grammar mistakes that you need to fix right now. And you need to fix them because the longer you make these mistakes, it's making your English sound very unnatural. And so here are my 3 recommendations, or 3 grammar mistakes that you need to fix right now. Number 1 is plural. Okay, plural. Now, maybe the word is kind of a grammar word, but maybe you've seen in your books singular and plural. Okay. Now the concept is a little bit challenging because it doesn't really exist in Japanese, and it's a simple concept of 1 versus 2 or more. For example, 1 pen or 2 pens, 3 pens. Or let's use a different example: 1 card, 2 cards. Okay. This is a simple concept, 1 or 2 or more. And so, a lot of students have trouble with plural. So if you can really just, grasp the concept, and if you have 2 or more, just add the S. It's just that simple. And sometimes if we don't use a number, it's a little bit tougher. For example, a lot of students will say, many Japanese student likes to da-da-da. Okay, so just make sure if you use words like many, use words like a lot of, it has to be plural, or a few. Even a few, it must be more than 1. So just remember keywords like, so many students, or a lot of workers. Okay, so whatever word you're using, just make sure if it's plural, you add the S. For most cases. Okay, the second grammar mistake you need to fix right now is past tense. Okay, kakkoke. And past tense. And it's a little bit troubling because so many students have trouble with making past tense regularly, consistently. And I always kind of wonder why, because it's exactly the same concept in Japanese grammar. So one of the things that I was thinking was maybe because the verb in English comes earlier in the sentence. So for example, in Japanese, I might say, 昨日本を買いました. So, of course, in English, yesterday I bought a book. So, of course, if you just translate the straight grammar, 昨日本を買いました. Yesterday, book, bought, right? So I'm guessing that the problem maybe is because in English, yesterday, I bought a book. And so because that verb comes earlier in the sentence, some students sometimes forget to change it to past form. And especially if it's an irregular form like buy and bought. Okay, so it will take a lot of focus and concentration, but if you can really, do past tense very well, it'll make your English sound so much more natural and very easy to understand, very clear. So work on past tense. Alright, now the third grammar mistake you need to fix right now is in grammar terms called third person conjugation. Okay, what does that mean? In simple language, third person conjugation means when you talk about he, she, it. Okay? And he, she, it, and let's practice simple present. Okay? So, for example, I like to play golf. He likes to play golf. I'm sure you got it right. Okay? So I like to play golf. He likes to play golf. So don't forget that little S on likes. Okay? Or I play tennis. Let's do she. She plays tennis. Okay? So, if we use he or she, it's actually not too hard and a lot of students can get it. However, the problem that always happens is, well, there are two problems. One is we use a different word, not he or she. For example, I like to play golf. My brother likes to play golf. Okay, so it's not saying he, but my brother. Of course, my brother is still he, so it's the same thing. Or Miss Lopez enjoys skiing. Okay, so we don't have to say he or she, but it could be my father, it could be my friend, or Miss Jones. Okay, so you just got to keep in mind any other person, he or she or it, will have a different verb conjugation, verb change. The second problem is when we make the negative. Okay, so for example, I don't like to play pachinko. Let's use my brother again. My brother doesn't like to play pachinko. I'm sure you got that. So my brother doesn't like to play pachinko. So often us English teachers, we often hear our students say, he don't like to. Okay, so if you can just really hear that, okay, instead of thinking about it, don't think, but hear that sound. Okay? He doesn't like to. Okay, he don't like to is just impossible. It's impossible grammar. It's 0%. It'll never happen. Okay, so if you can just start to hear that negative, he doesn't, she doesn't. Okay? She doesn't like to sing karaoke. He doesn't like to eat meat. Okay, so these are just some examples I'm just pulling from my head, but they just show the negative form of third person. So let's review. The 3 grammar mistakes you need to fix right now to make your English sound more natural are: number 1, plural. Number 2, past tense. And number 3, third person conjugation. Focus on those and you will see your skill, your English level up immediately. I guarantee you, I promise you. So give that a try. Let me know how you're doing. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. But good luck. In today's pronunciation point, we're going to talk about the difference between cars and cards. Okay, so this was submitted on Twitter a little while ago. So I did an audio recording of this, so we're going to do a video version now. And so you can see exactly how my mouth is moving, and you can try to duplicate it yourself. So again, we're going to do cars, kuruma. And of course, we have one car, two cars, three cars. So we're talking about multiple cars versus cards. For example, credit cards, playing cards, flashcards, any kind of cards, birthday cards, New Year's cards, so we could just keep listing them. Again, we're talking about more than one. We're talking about 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 cards. Okay, let's start with cars. Okay, so of course we're going to focus at the end of the word because that's where the difference is. So with cars, you can hear that kind of Z sound at the end, which means that our tongue is not quite touching the top of the mouth. Okay, so you can feel air blowing through, just like a regular Z sound. Cars. Okay, one more time. Cars. S, s. Okay, cars. Okay, so please try cars. 2 cars. Okay, so hopefully that shouldn't be too challenging to hear or say. Again, we want to be able to hear the difference first and then try to produce. Okay, so again, cars. Okay, now let's talk about cards. Okay, so hope you can hear that difference. Cards. Okay, let's talk about credit cards. Okay, so cards. Now in this case, let's practice by talking about one card. Okay, so when you produce the D sound, of course, the tongue is going to touch the top, just briefly, and produce that D sound, which I hope you can do. Please try it. Card. Card. And I'm oversaying it just a little bit, just to make it clear, but just try that first. Card. Okay. Now, once you can do that, slowly add the S at the end. Okay. Cardus. Cardus. Okay, now let's speed it up. Cardus. Cardus. Cards. Cards. Okay, so just speed it up gradually. Okay, little by little. Okay, so hopefully you can practice that, do that. Cards. Credit cards. Okay, so let's practice both of them one more time. Cars. Cards. Okay, let's make a sentence. I like to drive cars. Okay. I don't like to use my credit cards. Excellent. Nice job. So please practice those example sentences. You can make your own sentences if you like. Please go ahead. Be creative, have fun, and just remember the key is practice again and again. It should feel kind of new in your mouth. Please practice that feeling. You want to get used to that. It's just like any kind of activity you do which requires muscles. In my case, I love to play golf. The same thing. So when you practice golf, you got to practice again and again to get used to the motion. Once you get used to it, you don't have to think about it anymore. That's the goal we're trying to reach. So keep practicing. If you have any questions, please tweet me or send an email to ask@alsensei.com, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Good luck. So unfortunately, we're out of time for today, but thank you so much for watching. And please support the podcast by subscribing in iTunes if you haven't done so already. If you're watching on my site, I really appreciate that. But again, please subscribe in iTunes, and you will get the next episode and future episodes automatically when you log into iTunes. So thank you so much again for watching today. If you want to follow on Twitter, It's at ALsensei. And thank you so much again, and we'll see you next time.